gotta be strong in this time, son. I'm a survivor. I will survive. I will survive. And I'm a firm believer. We'll forever strive just to stay alive. That simple means it. Nobody can hold me, man. Nobody can drain my energy. Nobody can tell me sick. I will let alone negativity. Nobody can hold me, man. Nobody can drain my energy. Nobody can. Nobody can. Everybody show me some strength. No weakness. Show me a lion. Strength. No weakness. Show them who we are. Strength. No weakness. Show me a lion. Everybody's strength. No weakness. Show them who we are. Not when you're old.
This is Ridealong Live, where everyone has a story to tell.
Are you looking for some early cash for Christmas?
Yes!
Then join the fun online. Play Waggy Team Virtual Bingo. Because on Sunday, October 4th, from 6 p.m., you can win not 10, not 15, but a whopping $20,000 US cash. And the best part is, tickets are only $20 US. Available at gotofet.com or special box offices island-wide. And if you don't have any idea how to play, then visit our main office at Bruce Street Mall, where one of our agents will go through the process step by step. Remember, Sunday, 4th October, Waggy Tea Virtual Bingo is now $20,000 US. You don't want to miss this.
Yeah. You gotta be firm in this time, son. You gotta be strong in this time, son. I'm a survivor.
Welcome to the ride. Welcome to the ride.
I will survive. And I'm a firm believer.
Oh, unmute me. Thank you. Now I can sing.
Yeah. I just unmuted your mic.
You gave me a little bit of permission to speak.
Yeah. I give you a little bit of permission to speak, Uncle.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
How you doing? You look like if you prepared for something big, Funday.
I am prepared for something big. We have a big show today. I am super prepared.
Yeah, you know that's the thing about women. They always come double prepared. Sometimes often more prepared than they should be, but that's good. It's good.
You know, we got to show up.
You got to show up.
I gave you some rest last week, so you had the run of the show last Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
I need to check in with. I haven't seen Spice Baffy. I haven't seen Dion Fraser yet. I need my girls to tell me how you did last week because I wasn't here. So I'm waiting for. I see Tamika Rogers. I see Veronica. I'm waiting for my ladies to tell me how Junior did last week.
Yeah, I did you proud.
Thank you.
I did you proud. Guys, welcome to Fun Day, or as we say, Wednesday on the Ride. This show is brought to you by that beautiful lady right over there. She's an attorney at law, and not only a attorney at law, she's one of the best attorney at law, immigration attorney here in the US. She does an awesome job. Now, today is a special day. Hence the reason why she dressed up like that. Hence the reason why I have a clock, and hence the reason why we go touch on immigration. We go also touch on a very topical issue. The issue of marijuana, weed. Marijuana, cannabis,
weed.
We're gonna talk about it. But before we talk about it and what kind of new twist we're gonna do with the show today, we had some very disappointing news just earlier today, Funday? If you could just summarize it for us.
So, as far as Breonna Taylor is concerned, I must offer my condolences to the family members of Miss Breonna Taylor. We just got the news that there will be no prosecution in the case of Breonna Taylor. For those of you that are not familiar, officers mistakenly served a warrant on Miss Breonna Taylor's home. Her boyfriend was defending his home. Officers fired back, and Miss Taylor, Brianna, was killed, and there have been no charges, and there will be no charges coming out of this unfortunate incident. So it's a pretty sad day, Junior. It's sending a really sad message to the Black community, I think, in what is already very, thin ice type of era where we're getting so many messages that we're not good enough, that we're not valued. And then this is like a nail in the coffin when we see no charges being filed. And I was expecting something. Anything.
I was expecting something, man. And you know what? What was the most ridiculous part of this whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
One police officer got charged for not even the death of Brianna, but he got charged for shooting into a nearby building.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like she was invincible.
Like her life doesn't matter, and it scares me.
I don't understand. And I don't like this violence eruption, because I think that when you have those violent eruption, rioting and stuff like that, it speaks to one narrative on one particular person right now.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand why people are out there, and I understand why people are upset, because this keeps happening and it's happening, and it's just telling us that our life
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
That is very upsetting. Very, very, very upsetting. And to the family, look, last week or so, they had a big settlement.
They did. So the suit was settled. The civil suit was settled. So the family did receive compensation. But I'm sure the family will tell you no amount of money can bring their daughter back. This bright young woman on the cusp of her life, they'll tell you, of course, the money doesn't mean much. And I know they are probably crying tonight. I have no doubt about that they're in tears tonight.
I want everybody to do this for me, man. We have to do what we have to do. And I want to show some love for the family of Breonna Taylor. I want everybody to just press that love right now to show a solidarity for the family that is going through a lot right now. The whole country is going through a lot. Mm-hmm. And let's just show love for peace. Let's just show love that there's calm through the night. And let's just show love that good sense prevail. Because I already see police already lining up with riot gear.
Yes.
They're anticipating something big happening. The news media already hyping it up. And half of the time when all of this stuff happens, it's not even the protesters. It's people who go out there and try to create more of an havoc to blame the protesters.
It is. The antagonist will. And I saw that where they were putting boards on the windows, and the family has called for peace. So I'm hoping everybody in Brianna's honor, and it's hard to kind of, and I'm not at all encouraging any kind of rioting, but it's hard as a community. Like, where do you put this energy? Where do you put this pain? So I'm hoping everybody listens to the family members. They have asked for peace in Brianna's name. So I think we have to respect that.
Yes, absolutely. So guys, today is a special, different type of day. Of course, we know we have immigration. We're going to be telling you all about immigration and all what's happening in the world of immigration. But we decided to give you a little bit of a twist, right? Here is the backdrop of today's program. We are going to do something for the very first time. Well, actually, we tried it last time, but it was just me and Funday doing our thing. But today, we are going to do something that we are possibly thinking about going full force ahead with an individual separate program. Let's introduce our friend on the here with us. His name is Mr. Tevin Andrew. He is the NDC caretaker for Carriacou and PT Martinique, and he will just rightly introduce himself briefly, sir. Go ahead. Yes.
Yes. Good evening to everybody. Hope all is well. And of course, thank you, Junior, for allowing me on this wonderful program. And of course, my learned friend. pleasant good day to you.
Thank you, sir.
Absolutely, absolutely. So here's what we are going to be doing today. Today is a major debate. We all know about the new policy that was announced by the NDC in Grenada. The policy is for the legalization and decriminalization of marijuana. All right. So Funde is a lawyer, and her position on this is going to be
I oppose the decriminalization and the legalization of marijuana. That is my position today.
that is her position today, right? With a disclaimer, but we'll talk about that. And Mr. Kevin Andrew, your position.
I like how Fonde put it. This is my position for today. So meaning that tomorrow could be a different something, which is great.
Tomorrow could be a different story, sir.
But I am for the decriminalization, legalization of marijuana. It must be done pronto. It must be done right away, right now, present, direct, forthwith. It must be done. I support the legalization of marijuana.
All right. So, guys, with your permission, we are going to start, and this is how it's all going to start. We want you guys to be a part of this discussion, a part of this debate. So we are going to start by giving Mr. Tevin Andrew 5 minutes to make his case as to why they should move on with the policy of legalizing marijuana. And then we're going to give Funde 5 minutes to rebut the position of my friend Tevin Andrew. The second part of it, we are going to go question and answer and try to get as much information out to the general public. A good debate never hurts anybody. All right. So to start it all off, I'm the mediator. I'm in the middle. I'm going to be knocking the gavel wherever it is, and giving you guys time. And also, everyone that's watching, you guys could participate as well. All right, you guys could participate as well because we do have, let me make sure that it's working. We do have a poll right there. So if you are against or you're supporting Funde, you're going to press the thumbs up. Or if you're for Tevin and if you're against, you're pressing the thumbs up. If you are for, you're pressing the heart. And that's how we're going to tabulate the court of public opinion here today. All right. So go ahead, Mr. Tevin Andrew. You got the floor first. 5 minutes, sir, to make your case on the legalization of marijuana. Go right ahead, sir.
Legalize it. Oh, Lord. Time to legalize it. For many, many years, this drug, if you want to put it that way, cannabis, hemp, marijuana, mariganja, however you want to call it, has been a drug that many people scorned. And of course, it has been illegal in many countries. Some of the countries, such as the United States of America, that have been putting a lot of tough regulations, if you want to put it that in lack of a better words, on countries like Grenada, smaller countries like Grenada, as it relates to the use of cannabis, are now decriminalizing it and legalizing it in some of its states over there. So I believe that the time has come now, like the CARICOM has made the decision, that we should legalize and decriminalize marijuana, not just to realize its financial benefits, but also for its medical benefits. And there are several other benefits from marijuana. The time has come that we move in that direction. We should not be left behind as a country, as an island, and wait for the great United States that was once against it and put so many sanctions on us to fully utilize all the benefits, and then we are left behind. We are saying, no, it is time to take in front and do what we have to do to legalize it. And not just to legalize, but to legalize for its medical use, because it has been proven by many well-renowned researchers of the wonderful benefits, medical benefits of the marijuana for healing, for pain relief, and for so many other things. But apart from those medical use, there are so many other things that could be done as a result of marijuana, the plant. You could make lotions with it, you could make sunscreen with it, sun lotions with it, you could make soap with it, you could make what so many things from the plant. So I believe as a people, as a Caribbean people, we should not allow anybody to hold us back from going to that direction. But I believe we should fully utilize it and take advantage of it. So the time is now to move forward as it relates to the decriminalization and legalization of marijuana. And I also believe that for young people or people in general whose record has been stained as a result of marijuana, they have gotten a criminal record because of marijuana. I believe that the time has come now that we look at we clean the records for those who have been, their records have been stained as a result of being captured for a small amount of marijuana. So it's important for that to be done. I also believe that the Rastafarian community that has been victimized as a result of using it for their spiritual purposes, for their meditation purposes, for their religious purposes, should also be offered a formal apology. So I believe we should not allow the bigger countries to hold us back in that direction. We should utilize it. After all, for God's sake, it's a plant, it's a herb with several wonderful benefits. I've never heard about a case where marijuana have killed anybody. I know my learned friend on the other side will come and say all kind of thing about this, that marijuana will destroy the minds of people and the psycho effects of the effects that it has and what have you. But it is proven that marijuana has never killed anybody. And if you smoke a spliff and you get high, you ain't going home and beat up your wife. But most likely, if you drink rum and you have that anger management issue, you might go home and beat up your wife. So marijuana has proven to calm people and all of that. So it has so much benefits, and it's not only used for smoking, but there are so many other things that it could be used for. So I wait to hear what my learned friend has to say, and then I'll rebut as it when needs be.
All right, thank you. Completed with at least about 30 seconds on the clock. Mr. Tevin Andrew making his opening remark on why the ganja plant, marijuana, should be legalized. Guys, this we want you guys to participate. We want you guys to participate. So if you are for the legalization, if you are for, you're pressing the heart. If you are against, you're pressing the thumbs up. And now we go for her opening remarks. Dione Winter Funday.
Thank you, Junior. I don't know how to refer to you as judge or the court of public opinion, how we're going to sell that. But good evening, everyone, and good evening to my colleague, Mr. Andrews, Councillor Andrews. Thank you for those remarks, and also I also have to thank you for helping me make my case, as you pointed out, to the psycho effects of marijuana. There's never a time has come reason for us to legalize or decriminalize anything. My colleague referred to time has come so many times in his opening that I thought I almost lost track of what we were talking about, because he kept saying the time has come. And I wanted to agree with you, my colleague, but I just could not. Legalization without education is a huge mistake. Legalization without education is a huge mistake. The marijuana that we see on the market today is not the Woodstock weed from the 60s or the weed that my grandma used to make for tea for my tummy ache or headache back in the 80s or 90s, the weed that was grown in our backyards in the Caribbean. Science has shown that the THC, that's the product in the weed that gives us that great sensation. And I must warn my audience that I am a past member of the Rastafarian community, so I'm fully aware of the use and the overuse and the abuse of marijuana. This weed is not the weed of the 60s. The THC is much higher than what we have experienced. And for those reasons, it is not just to say legalize without one, educating our youth about the use or the overuse of anything that you abuse. Like marijuana is harmless until it is abused. And I know there's a global push to legalize marijuana, and there's a reason for that. A lot of countries have seen it as a huge cash crop. And I think my colleague referred to that about the benefits and how the Caribbean can benefit from selling this. What we have to be careful is that we're not putting on unregulated amounts of drugs into the hands of our young community. If we are to legalize and decriminalize marijuana, there has to be some kind of regulation. I do not want my students, my high school students, walking out of school and going off to go smoke weed. Or I do not want marijuana to be trafficked in and out of our communities in Jamaica, as we have seen in those countries that have led this movement. If we're to look to the Netherlands or Portugal, let's use the Netherlands, for example, where they had coffee shops that were opened. So they have decriminalized marijuana where you can sell, possess, use. What they found was that this was not a social use. This was overuse. In fact, in those countries, Netherlands and Portugal, they are rolling back on the decriminalization of marijuana. So while I want to agree with my friend, and I do want to apologize to the Rastafarian community and others that have been criminalized because of the use of marijuana, I do want to say legalization without education is a mistake. Even as we look at how our immigration laws are written, and Mr. Speaker, you can tell me how much time I have. When we look at federal immigration laws,
2 minutes and 30 seconds.
When we look at federal immigration laws, thank you, sir, within the United States, as they are written, so many states, about 29 states, have decriminalized the use of marijuana. States. So now we have individuals that think marijuana has been legalized, so it does not affect me federally, and it does, which is why I go back to my point and I say legalization without education is a huge mistake. Any immigrant in the United States that possess 30 grams or more of marijuana can be deported. Any intending immigrant in Grenada, Carriacou, Jamaica, Canada, they go to the United States consulate to be interviewed for their visa in order to immigrate. If they so much as admit without any kind of conviction, if they admit to the use of marijuana, they will be deemed inadmissible. Again, my colleague, legalization without education. So as much as I want to side with you and say, let's decriminalize, let's legalize marijuana, we have to think about the other social stigmas that are attached to this. We have to provide education for our youth.
Time.
We have to provide education for everybody involved. Legalization without education is a mistake.
All right, thank you there. Deanna Winter-Fonde, for your opening statement on why it should not be legalized. The question now on the floor is, why is it that the countries such as Canada and states like California and other states have legalized marijuana and now seen a huge surplus in their GDP? Isn't it then that Caribbean nations, St. Vincent, Jamaica, Trinidad, and those islands who have the purest, best set of marijuana could use those economic stimulus right now for the benefit of the population? So the question is, why is it that other more developed countries are now taking advantage of this opportunity and we are not in the Caribbean? Kevin, goes to you first. 5 minutes.
Yeah, well, I firmly believe I've taken consideration California. California brought in a huge sum of revenue through taxes as it relates to the cannabis, $345 million US, which is just over 900 million EC dollars. Colorado, past the $1 billion revenue mark that they had, which is equivalent to 2 billion EC dollars. And of course, Canada, within 5.5 months, generated in taxes as a result of marijuana 186 million Canadian dollars, which is equivalent to just about 300 million EC dollars. Could you imagine what those type of money could be doing for our economy here in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique? That's a lot of money. So it shows that the market is available, that people are interested in this product, and I believe that we should take full advantage of it. Grenada, we don't have much industries here in Grenada, and I think that is a wonderful industry to create, to generate much needed resources, to help pump into our education system, to help pump into our healthcare system and infrastructure, and so many other things. But I just want to go back to a point that my learned friend made about public education. I just want to say that education, of course, is something that is ongoing. It is something that our political party has committed to in ensuring that there is enough public education. And of course, it's something that is ongoing as it relates to educating people about the use of marijuana and what our party's policies and so forth. As it relates to young people getting access to marijuana and so forth, the same policies that exist and probably more stringent measures will be put in place as it relates to how young people should not be drinking alcohol or have access to alcohol or cigarettes and so on. It's the same thing, that same principle that should apply as it relates to cannabis, marijuana, what have you. So stringent policies and so on will be put in place. But as it relates to the bigger states and or countries, as with all this monies that they're receiving, I don't see why we should not be going in that direction. But of course, there are big countries that are going in that direction that don't want the smaller countries to benefit from it. So they're going to put up a defense and fight and to give us all reasons why we shouldn't be heading in that direction. But I believe that we have made a crossroad in the country where we should head in that direction.
All right. Answer with time to spare. Diana Winter Funday.
So I want to answer, my colleague didn't answer your question about why states like California, Colorado, and Canada have been able to reap that amount of monies. Let's not be blind to what's going on with the marijuana industry. Of course, countries like California, Colorado, they can talk about the billion-dollar profits they have made. However, they have a lot of social infrastructure in place. And I want us, for purposes of this argument, to separate decriminalization from legalization. Certainly for decriminalization, we mean no arrest, personal use. For legalization, we're talking about anyone, anywhere can sell, possess, or use marijuana. That is where I have a problem with it, the full-on legalization. For us to even the Caribbean to venture in that direction, we need to set up psychologists in place. We need to make sure that we have to divide it between recreational use and medical use. So we have to do that at first. So when we think about the medical use, we have to have doctors that are trained that will write the prescriptions so the right person will use the marijuana for the right reasons. Just like alcohol, I think somebody in the audience says, what about alcohol? What do we know about alcohol? We have drug treatment centers for alcoholics. We have people who are abusing alcohol because, of course, alcohol, for the most part, is legalized. So we cannot look to the big countries. I think there were 10 prominent countries that have decriminalized marijuana. They put a lot of money back into the system for social programs because they're reaping the good with the bad, no pun intended. And I also wanted to add to my colleagues. I've had the chance to travel and see the effects that marijuana will have on a country. Keep in mind, there are so many drug cartels that will control the use of this. And all these drug cartels will now do, whether they're in the Caribbean, whether they're in Canada, whether they're in one of the prominent countries that we talked about, they will function under the umbrella of legalization. And what do we know about these cartels? They also engage in human trafficking. So now we're giving them this legal umbrella under which to run their business and to continue with their illegal activities. So until we are at a place, the Caribbean, whether it's Jamaica, whether it's Carriacou, whether it's Grenada, until we're at a place where we can put in the social programs, because with the legalization of marijuana, we're getting the good, we're getting the bad. We have to have social programs in place. And remember, marijuana is a gateway drug. So my colleague said he hasn't seen anybody died from marijuana. Marijuana, it has been proven to be a gateway drug. So until those those educational programs are in place, social programs are in place, counseling, therapy, educational programs, the Caribbean is not at the place where we're ready to legalize marijuana. The time and the money should not be our only two driving factors. It cannot be, look how much Canada has made, we can make the same amount. That cannot be the reason.
All right. Good. Some points made there. Mr. Tevin, Andrew, I give you opportunity to rebut some of the arguments that was made by counsel.
Sure, and I'll start with the latter part. I heard my colleague saying that we are not ready, we are not ready, and it's coming up with all sorts of excuses as to why we are not ready and why we shouldn't go to that direction and all of that. But I must draw counsel to slavery, to segregation, to the rights to vote, independence. There was never a time when people were ready for those things. There were a group of people that were saying we are not ready to abolish slavery. And they gave all sorts of reasons as to why it cannot be done and why we shouldn't be doing it at this point in time. Segregation, everyone gave their reason why it shouldn't be done and why and how it wouldn't work and all of this nonsense. The rights to vote and all of that. I'm saying there is never a right time. And we would never get it perfect, We would never get it perfect. And we may not be able to cross all our T's and dot all our I's and so on. But I think that the Caribbean, that Grenada, is at a crossroad at this point in time where we are saying that it is time that we make this decision. And we can follow the models of Canada, of Colorado, of other states and other countries to learn from it and implement. You made the point that that the bigger countries, that the monies that derives from it, they pump it back into the society in terms of healthcare and other. We can do the same. The same can be done here in Grenada. I don't see what and why we should be holding back or stop. What should be holding us back from going into that direction? There will always be pros and cons as it relates to, new developments. But I say in the end of the day, when you look at the benefits from the benefit that will derive from the legalization or the decriminalization of marijuana, I believe that the good outweigh the bad every time.
Right. Counsel, you care to rebut, and then I want to go into a portion of this argument, right, where it has to be based on evidence. It has to be evidence-based. It has to be fact-based. It has to be study-based, and studies that we could feel that it's good studies and studies that are credible. So we're going to go into that part of it in a short while. But counsel, any rebuttal for our friend about the Tevin Andrew?
So I'm glad you talked about going into studies. I want to talk. One of the documents I want to present today is it talks about the messages against legalization, and it also talks about studies that have been done. And for every $1 in alcohol and tobacco tax revenue, society loses $10 in societal cost. They are predicting that with marijuana, it was more. And I'll break that down. So for every $1 that they sell for alcohol, society has to put $10 in social cost, meaning treatment, meaning that person that is no longer functioning because of alcohol. Because marijuana and its addictive qualities, studies are predicting, and this is from Smart Approaches to Marijuana by Dr. Kevin A. Sabat in a 2013 report when they were just looking at moving the globalization of marijuana forward. So this conversation is not new. The fact that the Caribbean is now catching on is because there is, I think, some more globalization argument happening. This is not happening in a silo within the Caribbean. This is a global movement. So if we think for a second that this is unique to Grenada, no. This is the global market saying to the Caribbean, now it's time to legalize marijuana. But for every $1 spent in alcohol, so it costs society $10. For marijuana, it's 3 times higher. So if we make $3 million in marijuana sales, studies have shown that we'll be spending $9 million in social issues. That's what it takes to kind of to fix the bad that what we thought this good would have brought us.
Okay. Kevin, so we're looking at a balancing game right now. We are making the money, but then on the other hand, we're spending a huge chunk of that money. So the question is, does the good weigh the bad in this situation here, or does the the bad weigh the good? What's your point?
Well, there's so much studies nowadays. I mean, everybody is doing studies. Everybody is coming up with all sorts of theory, all sorts of.
So are you not basing your policies on studies?
Of course, studies conducted in various countries, and of course, surveys that was done within our own member states within the Caribbean. That's what it has shown.
What are those studies saying? What are those studies saying?
Those studies are saying that the good outweighs the bad. The good outweighs the bad. The studies are saying that while every year over 1 million people are dying from alcohol abuse, 0 dies from marijuana. The studies are clear. It's showing that people are more addicted when using between alcohol and marijuana, that people are more addicted to alcohol or will be more addicted to alcohol than marijuana. The studies are showing that in the case of cigarettes and alcohol, compare that to marijuana, the damage that it will do on the body, there's no comparison as it relates to marijuana. Marijuana do less damage to your body than cigarette and alcohol. So it is less stress on our healthcare system as well, and the society. So that is what it is showing. So and the studies are there. I mean, my colleague knows that for a fact as well.
Could you point me to the studies, sir, so we could make the studies available?
Oh, sure, definitely. You can definitely get the studies on. Just give me a minute here.
While my colleague does his research, I must say, Junior, if this was a debate of alcohol versus marijuana, sir, you would win, right? But we're not talking about the use of alcohol versus the use of marijuana. That is not what we're talking about.
And you're absolutely right, my colleague.
Legalization of marijuana, not alcohol versus cigarettes or alcohol versus
You're absolutely right. But I was just bringing in the point to prove that comparing marijuana with other substance or other drugs that are available that is not illegal, I can't understand the reason or the rationale as to why marijuana is an illegal drug.
Because
while we have legal drugs that are causing and posing more harm to our body and our society, and is putting so much stress on our economy, compare that to marijuana that is an illegal drug.
Well, but you said we must get it perfect. That's what you said earlier. In fact, you said we don't have to get it perfect. And I say to you, we must get it perfect. Why? Because we've decriminalized alcohol. Alcohol is now legal. Certain class A drugs, right, are now over-the-counter drugs. So I say we must get this one perfect. And I know there's arguments. My opponents will say, but nobody dies from marijuana. Nobody gets addicted to marijuana. And I agree with you. I agree with you. But we all know it's a gateway drug. When crossed with the wrong substances, this can be deadly. And we know that for a fact. Studies have shown that most high schoolers, the first drug they tried was that spliff. The spliff that was given to them from somebody's mother's cabinet. That's what they started with. And then they moved on to the more harsher substances.
But you see, my friend, you are only looking at marijuana as something to smoke. There are so many other use of the plant, from the root to the leaves to the trunk to everything. There's so much use that you can do with marijuana. It's not only for smoking.
Well, let me ask you
but as it relates to the medical side of things, of course, it has to be regulated. It has to be controlled. But I do believe that the time has come for us to legalize the herb. Free it up, man.
So let me ask you guys a general question. I don't know if you have any stats that we could, or you could refer me to so that I could pull up on the screen here. But as it stands right now, does the drug have to be legalized in order to be used for medicinal purposes?
So the states that have are using marijuana for medicinal purposes have legalized it. For you can get your medical marijuana card. So it would be counterintuitive to not legalize it and then say use it for medicinal purposes. So I could say I have cancer, or I could say I have HIV AIDS, and I'm caught or I'm stopped with a certain amount of marijuana. If it's not legally in my possession, then I could be charged. So I think it would be counterintuitive. So I think legalization and medicinal use goes hand in hand. And again, regulation. And I want to, like the counselor said, to move away from just the smoking. I am also talking about exporting. I am talking about possession. I am talking about selling. I think until all the laws are gelled, then you're going to have somebody from the Caribbean who does not understand that driving around with 30 pounds of weed will affect their chances for immigration. And that's where I come back to, with legalization without education is going to be super problematic.
Oh, definitely. I do agree. And I agree with counsel on this one. But at the same,
finally,
supporting what she's saying in terms of it's important that we don't only use this drug for smoking and so forth, but we now look at the potential that it will have as it relates to exporting to help boost our economy and to gain much needed revenue. Let us see some of the products that could be made from hemp, whether it is milk. I just today while researching, I realized that you could make hemp oil and hemp. I learned about hemp oil a long time ago, but the hemp milk, I never knew that. And the strongest rope you can get it, as John Crow is saying. I saw that today as well. So there's so much products that you can realize as a result of marijuana, hemp, however you want to call it. So the time has come for us to go into that direction. It's not a plant only to smoke, but there are several other benefits that can be derived from this wonderful, beautiful, God-given herb. God gave us it. I don't know why we should make it so illegal. While other things like all them other drugs that is doing way more harm to our body and to society, you can go in a pharmacy and pick it up for a few dollars. Legalize the thing. The time is now.
Right.
And
go ahead. We'll do about 4 more minutes of the back and forth, and then I'll go ask for closing statements where counsel and of course Terry and Andrew will be able to close up this statement. But I want you guys to talk about evidence-based. It's important that we get evidence-based information, not hearsay, not emotional. We need facts. We need facts, because we do understand that we are making a big policy decision. This would affect potential life of young people, affect lives of everyone. So we want to base our information on evidential facts. That's what I want. So if you guys could forward that to me. Counsel, go right ahead.
All right. So we talked a lot about the other uses of marijuana, right? We're saying we can use it for the treatment of, if you have cancer, you can use it for the treatment of that. If you have any other kind of illnesses, you can use it for the treatment of that. And I confessed earlier, like President Bill Clinton, when he said he did not inhale, I confessed earlier that I drank the tea because we use that for stomach ache growing up. But I go back to saying the marijuana that we used 10, 20, 30 years ago for whatever purpose, medicinal, smoking, to make gum, whatever purposes it's for, it is a different marijuana today. In the 1960s and 1970s, THC levels of the marijuana smoked by baby boomers averaged about 1%. That almost tripled in 30 years to around 11% in 2011. So the THC in marijuana today is not what our parents were inhaling. I will also point out that most people, we're saying this won't be for smoking, this is just going to be for medicinal uses. Maybe. We also have to think about the traffickers. We have to think about the people that will be selling this drug. Were it legalized, we are going to see an uptick in drug. In fact, 99.8% of federal prisoners sentenced for drug offenses, they were not arrested because they were smoking or using it for medicinal purposes. They were arrested, hear this, 99.8, they were arrested for drug trafficking. So it's not so much just the smoking. So I'm trying to move the conversation off of smoking to say this is not just smoking, this is also trafficking. And when we think about trafficking, we think not only about drugs, but we also think about humans. So we have to be careful and not just say, oh, it's $1 billion industry, I want to be a part of that. So is human trafficking. That's $1 billion industry too. And just to before I wrap up, I would not compare slavery or any of those things with drug use or with the legalization of a drug.
All right, Andrew.
And I get your point, my learned friend, and let me just clarify what I meant when I used slavery and segregation and other things. I was just making the point that there is never a right time to bring about changes. Whenever the time comes for change to be made, there are always people that will find all sorts of reasons as to why now isn't the time to get it done. So that's the reason I use slavery. And slavery is an example as to, it's an example, but I understand the point that you're making. But you made a point as it relates to the marijuana that it's not the same that your grandma used to use back then and all of that. But I want to just break it down and to make it a bit clear. There are different grades or different types of marijuana. So probably the grade that your grandma is using is probably a higher grade or a lower grade or however you call it. But there are different types of marijuana, and that is what you'll be. I think you are being a bit confused or misunderstanding as it relates to that aspect of it. There's several different types of grades of marijuana that could be used for different reasons. Yes, so that point must be made. But I do believe, as I said earlier on, that the time has come for us to utilize the herb, not just for smoking, but for other purposes. I believe the Caribbean, as we all know, is cash-strapped. It's an avenue for us to make money, for us to get some much needed resources from it. I also believe that people that are suffering with medical conditions, instead of using harmful drugs to be treated, could now utilize the herb for treatment, which has no life-threatening harm or effects on their body. So, and I understand all the pros and cons as it relates to the legalization and decriminalization of the herb. But I believe that we should learn from other states, learn from other countries, some of the negatives, and put measures in place to cushion the effects. We will never be able to get everything right. But I believe with time, we would grow and we would get things rolling. But I believe that the time has come for us to, to utilize it.
All right, guys. So here's what we're gonna do right at this point. Here. We're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we get our closing arguments, and then we'll decide on who won the debate. Is it Funday or is it Tevin Andrew? We'll be right back. Don't move.
Hey, I got some good news for you. Looking for a passionate immigration lawyer with experience that spans over 2 decades? Someone trusted that serves immigrant families just like yours? Well, look no more. Now you can benefit from her personal and professional experience. Diane Winter Funday. Schedule a consultation now and get assistance with your immigration journey. Specialize in adjustment of status, B1 business visa, B2 visitor's visa, consular processing, deportation defense, naturalization, and more. Give us a call today at 813-815-3529. That's 813-815-3529 or online at winterimmigration.com. Attorney Diane Winter Funday. Law done differently.
Don't forget, if you have any immigration questions, I want you to check out Diane Winter Funday, attorney at law. She's licensed here in the United States and in Jamaica.
Almost.
Almost. Okay. But you could call her for all your immigration questions. And next week we'll be back with the immigration questions. But today we had to debate on this issue. We had to take this opportunity. But don't forget, for all your immigration questions, if you're getting a green card, if you're looking to get your citizenship, the time is running out. You need to make that move right now. Call for your consultation on your immigration matters right now. All right? Diane Winter Funday, attorney at law. All right, guys, it's about this time for a closing argument. This is this last argument that the audience would hear. Last opportunity to sell your policies. We'll start with Counsel Diane.
Thank you, Junior, and thank you to my learned friend, Mr. Andrews, and thank you to our audience for listening. When tasked with whether to legalize or whether to support the legalization and decriminalization of marijuana, I could not help but going back to my childhood. Childhood where in St. Anne, I ran through the fields, acres and acres of marijuana that was planted by my then uncle. And I remember his warning when he would have us rub those leaves. We used hot knife to scrape the gum off our hands. And I still to this day remember his warnings, stay away from it. Why he warned it was addictive, and he did not want us to get into the addiction of marijuana. This from my uncle who planted acres and acres of marijuana, not for use, but not for personal consumption, but as a cash crop. So I have no doubt in my mind that this is a great cash crop for the Caribbean. However, we cannot legalize and decriminalize marijuana simply because the time has come. Studies have shown that marijuana contributes to psychosis and schizophrenia. In fact, 1 in 6 kids who ever use it have a reduced IQ. These are studies that have shown. So before we simply place this loaded gun into the hands of our community, our little Caribbean community, who is not yet ready to treat, who is not yet ready to regulate, who is not yet ready, we are not yet ready, we cannot say the time has come. And for that reason, I oppose the legalization and decriminalization of marijuana. And I go back to my original point, legalization without education is a mistake.
All right. All right. Mr. Andrew, for your closing argument, sir.
My learned friend said that marijuana, that her uncle told her to stay away from marijuana. And it's good that you heed his advice. And of course, that is something very personal. You also said that that kids who use marijuana have defects and all of that. But as far as I am concerned, kids should not be using marijuana. Just as kids should not be using alcohol or any other drugs. And I could, just to bring back the point I was making with regards to your uncle, I had a friend who had cancer, now deceased, but his only form of pain relief was marijuana, was weed. That was his only pain reliever. So, yes, there are some side effects or some bad things that many people would say why we shouldn't legalize or decriminalize it. But I do believe that we are taking the step in the right direction as it relates to decriminalizing it, decriminalizing and legalizing the marijuana. Just imagine the millions, the billions of dollars that will be pumped into our economy as a result of this, and the amount of things that we can do to help boost not just the economy, but improve our economy, improve the country on a whole. I believe that the time is now. Legalize it now, legalize it straight away, legalize it not tomorrow, but today. It is time. Free up the herb, free up the weed, legalize it.
Oh, oh Lordy.
All right, guys. I was all the way through. I'm trying to keep a straight face.
Me too. I was like, okay, counselor. Yeah, okay. I love it. I love it, Mr. Andrews. I love it.
All right, so here's what I want to know. I want to know, guys, who you guys think won the debate? Who won the debate? Who won the debate? Are we going for? Hold on. Are we going for the legalization? If you're saying legalize it, you're pressing the thumbs up. And if you say don't legalize it, you're pressing the thumbs up. If you say legalize it, you're pressing the heart. Press it right now. Keep pressing, keep pressing, keep pressing. And I will tell you guys who won the debate. In fact, I'm going to pop up a poll in your phones right now. Keep pressing, guys. Keep pressing, keep pressing, keep pressing. Keep pressing it right now. Keep pressing it right now. We're going to do it for like about a minute. Keep pressing.
Thumbs up.
Keep pressing, guys. Keep pressing. Tell us. Keep pressing it. Keep pressing it. Keep pressing it. Are we going for legalization with Tevin or Funday? Keep pressing it, guys. Keep pressing it. Keep pressing it. Keep pressing it.
Wait, I can press 2?
Okay.
Can I press 2 or no?
You could press. Yeah, you could press. You could vote for yourself. You could press as well. Also, guys, there's a poll that just popped up in your phone or will be popping up in your phone shortly. I'm watching it on this end. Who won the debate? Was it Funday or is it Tevin? Wow, we're seeing right now from all the correspondents, from everyone who responded so far, we're looking at 60 to 40, 60 to 40, 60 to 40. Everybody that got the pop up in their phone, who won the debate? We had 60 to 40 for Funday, 60 to 40 for Funday. Everybody respond. Wow, we had 75 to 25. A huge increase. We have 59 to 41 for Tevin. 59 to 59 to 41 for Funday. Sorry, 59 to 42 for Tevin. Everybody get that pop up in their phone. I want you guys to respond. Who won the debate? Are we going for legalizing with Tevin or not legalizing by Funday? 59 to 37. 59. Now it's 63 to 37. We're gonna run it for 30 seconds again. 30 seconds again. 30 seconds again. And we're gonna publish this poll so everybody gonna get a chance to see it. We had 63. We had 63 to 37. 63 to 32 in favor of Tevin. 68 to 32 in favor of Tevin. 68 to 32 in favor of Legalize It. All right, guys, we're going to go for 20 seconds again. 20 more seconds. 66 to 34. 67 to 33. 26. Only 26. 26. Yeah, sorry. 67 to 33. All right, we're gonna in 10 seconds. 10 seconds. We're gonna close it up. We had 70 to 30. 70 to 30. Who won the debate, guys? Everybody got the pop up on their phone. Oh, I got it too. So I had to vote, right? Can I vote? I should be able to vote
for both of us.
I think you should.
Vote for both of us.
Yeah, you got everyone who's watching. Let me show you what it looks like. You see this pop up in your phone and it says who won the debate. It pops up right at the bottom. I want you guys to press Tevin or Funday. Right? Press Tevin or Funday. Who won the debate? Let me tell you what it looks like. 67 to 33. 67 to 33. 67 to 33. All right, I'm going to show the results on your video right now. That's the result of the poll, guys. Polls close at 68. 68% to Funday 15%.
Oh my God, this is like a Jamaican election. I need a recount. I need a recount. Counselor, congratulations, sir.
Well, thank you, and I mean, you did an excellent job in terms of opposing, and you educate. I think you brought a lot of fire, and of course, educated us on some of the things that we need to do, especially as it relates to education. Educating our people, it's something that really needs to be ongoing, and I do agree with the effects of cannabis and that it could have on the society. So that is something that we also need to take into consideration. But I do believe that when we look at the pros and the cons, I do believe that the good outweigh the bad. And I know deep down inside, although you were debating, that you believe that it's time to free up the up, man. It's time to legalize the thing, man.
I absolutely, and you know what, as an attorney, that's what I do for a job. I have to take unpopular opinions and I have to put my best foot forward. So this was no different. As an attorney, I can take any position. And I think I shared with you and Junior, I have my tattoo here that says legalize. And this was since 1990 something. So right. I am very much, I need a recount though, but that's all right. Congratulations, sir.
So it's clear to see that the people believe that it's time to legalize the herb as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Absolutely.
I agree.
You guys, was a good game. I love this. I want to do it again.
You're gonna be part of that debate, Junior.
Tevin, thank you so much. Diane,
you.
in terms of the development of the policy, what more information could you, from a non-partisan point of view, because you're not a Grenadian, you're not going to vote, you're not a part of any political party there. What more could they do in terms of creating a policy that would be better for the entire population?
I think they have to make policies that align with the global market, right? They cannot make this policy in a silo as it suits your country. It has to be a global policy, and you have to make sure that the farming, I don't know if you're going to give out farm license, how you're going to do that. What I see in Jamaica, only the well-to-do are getting the licenses. So the little poor farmer that you're referencing, they are not getting those licenses. Similar to the United States, but I also see it in the Caribbean. It's the who's who. The big shots are getting those export license. And I imagine you're going to do so not so much for smoking, but for exporting and making it a cash crop. Make sure the little Rastafarian that you were talking about earlier, the little youths on the street corner, make sure that they are included in this, not the politician and his friends that get those $1 billion or $1 million export license. And you have to educate those people that are intending to immigrate that it doesn't matter what license they have. Once they grow, work for, cultivate, possess, and they admit it, they're not coming to the United States because federal laws have not lined up with state laws or local laws. So that's why it scares me, because I've had individuals go to their consular interview and admit to smoking or admit to, oh, I used to sell weed when I was 15, or I used to sell weed when I was 20. That makes them inadmissible to the United States. So that's why I'm really big on education. So they understand, okay, fine, I worked for Tevin Andrews' cultivation of marijuana. That makes you inadmissible. That is possession and trafficking, even though it's legal based on the policies you're putting forward. So those are the things that make me kind of nervous.
No, so I fully agree. I fully agree with you that this we should be looking after the small man, and that is what this morning on a radio program, a popular radio program I was on, I made the point that local Grenadian farmers, the local farmers, the small man, are the ones that we should really be granting those licenses to. Because what we realize now through the CBI program, a lot of people are now becoming Grenadians by investments.
Yes.
And as a result of that, we know that this is what they're coming to benefit from.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to ensure that our homegrown, local, ordinary Grenadian man, woman could really benefit from this, the small man. That and the NDC, our government has always been, our party has always believed in the small man.
Got it. I love that.
So this is something that I personally will be championing, and I think the party in a whole will be championing. And I do agree, again, public education. In a matter of days, our party will be having a forum, a public education forum, and we would also be taking queries and concerns from the public as it relates to this topic, to see how we can tweak our policy and improve on our policy. Because hey, we need the public input to make it even greater, to make the policy even better.
Okay. And also work with your Department of Agriculture, because you're also going to go into over farming of the land. So you might want to think about, sustainability, crop rotation, all that should be a part of the discussion.
Oh, definitely. Oh, yes, definitely. Fully agree. Oh, and maybe you can become a consultant for us on the matter, because you sound so excellent. Yeah. As a matter of fact, I want to encourage all my friends in the US and other places. I mean, you sung as a very bright lawyer. So they should.
Hold on, Kevin. Why do you think that she's one of our? We only choose the best over here, and
definitely I can tell
very highly paid, huh?
Yes, indeed.
So Kevin, I did travel. I traveled to the Netherlands, and I did a comprehensive, not study, but I was curious, because remember, they're the forerunners in the globalization of marijuana. You could go into Holland, anywhere in Amsterdam, go into a coffee shop and order your weed like how you would order from McDonald's. And I was always intrigued by this. Wow. And I can tell you, they struggle with their youth population. I mean, you will see young people just laying on the side of the street because they've had 3 brownies. From Friday to Sunday in Amsterdam, the young people are just like passed out. Like, it's like they're not even here anymore. So they're really struggling. So I want you to really, keep your finger on that pulse of the effects of the legalization.
Oh, definitely.
Remember, criminalization is a deterrence. And so if you're not being criminalized, you're not deterred. So
So your advice are taken. Your advice are really taken, and I appreciate it very much. Yes. And I also want to take this opportunity publicly to invite you to Grenada, but more so to Paradise Carrico.
All right.
Invite the CARICOM Pedimatic. Whenever this COVID-19 thing over,
Absolutely.
the first thing that you need to do is to come over to Grenada.
And yes, sir. I thank you for that.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Funday. Don't forget to check out the top 5 Sundays at 5 p.m. with Deanne Funday, Yolandi, Colleen, Victoria, and Hermelin. The top 5 p.m. every Sunday. Tevin and everyone, thank you guys for being such a great team on this.
Thank you, Junior.
Bye, guys. Catch you guys again.
Thanks, Dion Fraser. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Thanks, Geraldine, all the way. Thanks, Hermelin. Thank you, everybody.
Dion, give your number. Dion, give your number. The number of immigration. We don't.
Oh, sorry. We forgot about immigration today.
Yes.
813-815-3529. 813-815-3529.
Absolutely. Call that number right now, guys. Of course, we'll catch you guys again tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Are you looking for some early cash for Christmas?
Yes!
Then join the fun online. Play Waggy Team Virtual Bingo. Because on Sunday, October 4th, from 6 p.m., you can win not 10, not 15, but a whopping $20,000 US cash. And the best part is, tickets are only $20 US. Available at gotofet.com or special box offices island-wide. And if you don't have any idea how to play, then visit our main office at Bruce Street Mall, where one of our agents will go through the process step by step. Remember, Sunday, 4th October, Waggy Tea Virtual Bingo is now $20,000 US. You don't want to miss this.
Hey, I got some good news for you. Looking for a passionate immigration lawyer with experience that spans over 2 decades? Someone trusted that served immigrant families just like yours? Well, look no more. Now you can benefit from her personal and professional experience. Diane Winter Funday. Schedule a consultation now and get assistance with your immigration journey. Specialize in adjustment of status, B1 business visa, B2 visitor's visa, consular processing, deportation defense, naturalization, and more. Give us a call today at 813-815-3529. That's 813-815-3529 or online at winterimmigration.com. Attorney Diane Winter Funday. Law done differently.
You're constantly thinking of food, but sometimes you just don't want to cook or want something a little different. That's when you call Tasties, preparing meals that you really love. Tasties, our mouth-watering food, would have you coming back every day. But hold on, we only prepare meals Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for now. Call early because we have a lot to serve and we would love to serve you. Tasties, we prepare the meals you love to eat. From macaroni pie to baked chicken, provision dumpling and saltfish, stewed chicken, curry chicken, baked chicken, rice and peas, salads, and more. Please call for daily menu. Call 425-0624 or 403-0411. You can pick up your meals from us or we deliver it to you. Tasties, food that's delicious.
Hey, did you know that the census is due this year on April 1st? And guess what? This time we can finally count as Caribbean. This year, all you have to do is 1. Check the race box, and 2. Write in your country of birth or ancestry. You can answer by the paper form, online, or by phone. Everybody counts in Census 2020. So count as Caribbean. Yes, we count.
Ridealong Live, where everyone has a story to tell.